Hi guys, it's John here and this is the December benchmark test for the Galaxy S21. So on the left we have the Exynos 2100 and on the right we have the Snapdragon 888. And yes, you've guessed it, the Snapdragon is still stuck on the October update. So there's still nothing available, nothing coming in anytime soon by the look of it. So we've just got the December update here on the Exynos 2100. So we're going to run through our normal tests and see how it compares to the November update. So obviously this is now on Android 12. So it'll be interesting to see how Android 12 compares against itself from last month. Now, as soon as the Snapdragon does get its update, I will obviously do some comparisons and we can look back at different results if we can't get them in sync again with their updates. But we're getting closer now to the Galaxy S22, so soon we'll be actually testing against the Exynos 2200 and the new Snapdragon 898. So don't forget I did do a factory reset on my Exynos 2100 here, just to see whether it made a big difference or not compared to just doing an in-place upgrade. And I didn't notice a massive difference personally. I did hear that there were some issues with the Android 12 update with things crashing. I've not had any issues at all, so that may be because I did do a factory reset. Doing a factory reset is obviously a big thing to do for most people. It does take a lot of time and effort to get your apps back on and get things syncing again, but yeah, probably is worth it overall, I'd say, for Android 12. Anyway, I'll skip to the end of the GeekBench CPU test here and we'll see how it compares to November's update. Right, so last month we scored a single core of 1105 and a multi-core of 3537. So we actually are down a bit since last month. You can see the phone did heat up to about 31 degrees, so it's around 19 degrees in the office here. But yeah, we are down somewhat since last month. Once this has cooled down now, I'll move on to the compute benchmark and we'll see how that compares. Right, so the compute score has finished and we've scored 7491, which is actually a tiny bit higher than we scored in the November update, which was 7416. So that's a score of just over 70 points higher than last month. So next up, we're moving on to the AnTuTu Benchmark once this is cooled down, and we'll just see how that compares as well. Okay, so the benchmark has finished. Ignore the battery drainage on this test because I've had to restart it due to maybe not hitting record when I kicked off the test. But anyway, this is the final result. So we've gone to 746694, which is a slight decrease from last month's result, but it's still a very good result nonetheless. So we're down about 4,000 points from the November one, but we are still much higher than we were overall during last year. So it's still looking good here at the moment for the Exynos. So now I'm going to let this cool down again, and we're going to just do the stress test for 15 minutes, and I'll come back to once that's done, and we'll have a look at the graphs and see how things are looking. Okay, wow, I certainly wasn't expecting this. The stress test has finished and it's definitely improved since last month. We'll just compare this with the fresh install that I did just to make it a fair test. And we can see that we were doing really well here, you know, peaking to 100% quite a few times. It was dropping below to about 50% to 60% a few times during the test. But now we can see no peaks at all below around 65%, just under 70%. And look at how we're starting off now. We're starting pretty much maxed out throughout most of the test. You can see as things warm up a bit, it does go down a bit towards the 80% mark, but then we're back up towards, you know, 95, 100% through the end of the test. So yeah, huge improvement there over last month's test. So really quite happy with that. If we look at the cores as well, we can't see the 3 GHz line on this test, but that doesn't seem to have mattered that much in comparison to the last month's test where we can see it did just nearly reach 3 GHz on core 7 there. And I think you probably agree that there's a few less dips down well below the 1 GHz to say 500 MHz there. So yeah, overall a nice improvement on performance in AnTuTu. Perhaps this is Samsung tweaking things as much as they can in readiness for the 2200. I doubt it, but it would be nice to think so at least. But yeah, this is a really nice improvement over last month's result. So I'm now going to move on to the 3D mark tests. Once this is cooled down a bit, we'll see how those compare as well. Okay, so we've actually lost a few points here on the wildlife test. So last month we had 6,700 and we've now gone down to 6,454. Our frame rate has dropped by just over 1 frame per second. We had 40.10 last month and now we're getting 38.60. But we'll move on now to the Sling Shot and hopefully the maxed out result still comes up in this month's test. Okay, and yes, we are still maxed out here, which is good to see. And although our frames have dropped a bit since last month in the graphics and physics scores, we're still doing pretty well to have the maxed out score, so I'm still happy with that overall. So that was the update for December. Hopefully the January update won't be too long on the Exynos at least. Still not sure what's going on with the Snapdragon here, but I did see a comment from someone who said that the update had been delayed due to bugs and things. But again, like I said, I've had no bugs on my Exynos at least, so maybe it was just affecting the Snapdragon itself. Either way though, it's not really an excuse as it hasn't even got the November update. We're still running on October here on the Snapdragon, but I hope that will change soon. But I do fear that now that they're going to be concentrating on the S22, that may get put on the back burner while they try and prepare that for launch in February. We'll see though, and again, like I say, we'll be testing the S22 versus the S21 as soon as it comes out and as soon as I get my hands on them. So be sure to click the like button and subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications, and then you'll be notified when that video comes out. And again, thanks for watching, Happy New Year to everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.